considered one, or do we ban away a strong champion? And if you ban away a strong champion, you're still leaving open about 6. So, yeah, not really a point. May as well get rid of a targeted ban.
Well, Mondo is being considered here by Marin. For the jungle, for the top lane. Amy, of course, no stranger to tanks. We saw him break out into the LPL with a Sejuani pick, I believe, very early on.
And, of course, no surprise, this is more of a draft that I was expecting to see in the first best of 3 series is Mundo exists. Better take Mundo. Because it's just really good.
Hey, Trundle exists.
Yeah.
Let's take Trundle. Of course, Kindred is still there for Swift if they want to pick that one up.
Maybe Lissandra. Pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if we're having a bit of a repeat. And LGD with 2 very, very targeted bans towards the jungle. Oh, there it is. Swift, of course, known for playing a pretty decent Nocturne, if you guys remember. This is showing off now.
Yeah. His diverse champion pool saying you can't ban me out.
Yeah, exactly.
He plays all of those.
But it is going to be the Rek'Sai that he defaults to. The Trundle is going to be locked in. It's a flex pick here between Moore and V. As Amy looking at the Alistar, and once again, 100% pick ban rate so far here in the LPL. And the Tristana is going to be paired with him, so Imp taking a lot of all-in there to the bottom lane. Well, what used to be known as all-in. I just see Tristana, Alistar, and I think level 3, you're going to die.
Or level 2, honestly.
Yeah, or level 2, yeah.
Back when it was just all-in.
I like the 2 points in Rocket Jump. You need to kill everyone. But I think that's very different now as QG now going to consider what to do, and they can grab Lissandra here on the 4th rotation. Could be very scary.
See, I like this, but it's also going to be the assumption that V will play it, because Doinby is more of a Victor guy, and they're leaving it to the last pick, so they're running a very big flex kind of second draft here.
But it's a super flex as well, isn't it? So now V can play the Lissandra theoretically.
Don't forget about the frog.
Once again, the frog can go everywhere. Probably, wait, hang on. I was about to say probably not in the mid lane, but this is Doinby, so...
Yeah, there's a real chance that Doinby plays it.
I think I actually recently just clicked on a game to spectate it in client, and there was someone playing the old mid lane Tahm Kench.
I wouldn't take client spectator as an indicator of the LPL.
I'm just saying, he manages to get to the mid lane at some point. It's not blocked off.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can unclog the frog now and then.
Yeah, well, Wayless going to go back to tried and true by the looks of things, as that Varus has been locked in. He's had some brilliant games on the champion, but does just show that just can't really step away from it.
It's kind of... They've, with no hesitation, LGD have picked their entire team comp.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Hart has come in to prepare this entire pick and ban phase, but he's in with a mission.
That's true.
They've picked a very well-rounded team comp with no delays or considerations.
Yeah.
They've gone for the Varus mid lane. They've got a Rumble top lane, so they've mixed their damage up completely. They've got the Tristana, who's very good at sieging, whilst the Varus is designed to be poking. They've got the Alistar and the Mundo to be a front line, so that you can't actually get to the back line, which is poking and sieging.
Yeah, massive amounts of slows, as well as the knock-up CC available from PYL's Alistar. Laying down the red carpet then as well. The Equalizer can be used as a CC tool, as well as a heck of a lot of damage once the poke has been delivered. I do like the comp.
Interesting.
But QG, they reply very quickly as the LeBlanc has been locked in. And that is going to be Tahm Kench in the top lane, by the way.
Yeah.
So that is an odd flex pick, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that Trundle now to be considered the supportive choice over the Tahm Kench. Well, that is the world we live in right
the
now.
double flex. We have no idea if they swap back with that. It's entirely possible.
I just want Doinby to switch the LeBlanc into the bottom lane. Have the LeBlanc support.
This is also a game where you'll probably see a whole lot of Swifties.
That is true.
Boots of Swiftness, the flavor against Mundo, actually does quite well against Rumble as well, if you want to consider that.
That's true. Harpoons and Equalizer, both sources of slow, can be negated by 25-odd%. But we'll just have to see how Marin goes on this side as well. That's what I'm looking for here from LGD, is the coordination that they have and their drive to take a victory.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions to ask of this Xiaogu side, a lot of questions to ask of LGD with Marin now in that top lane and their new jungler and coach together from Unlimited Potential.
One thing I really want to point out right now is the fact that Amy has a smile on his face. When was the last time you saw an LGD jungler with a smile on their face, Rusty? It was a very, very long time ago.
I don't remember.
So loading onto the Rift now, and we'll see whether it makes a difference. So we're going to have it going on, but let's get onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Game 1 of LGD taking on QG. Now, feature matchup of the evening, Rusty. Amy once again. This is a very similar start.
It just happens every time.
To Game 1 of WE versus EPA.
So it's funny the way that they've changed how they're invading now. Yeah. Is they don't go via the tri-bush. They don't go the long way to invade. They actually just brute force their way in. They have the jungler walk in. And just be a pest.
Yeah, it's ukulele power. They've got the ukulele power. That's all you need.
Also the best skin possible.
It is so damn good.
I don't know, Mundo is actually pretty good too.
Kid Icarus in the mid lane now. I mean, Varus in mid lane. Doesn't look like we're going to have too many lane swaps. It is going to be scouted by QG. PYL are going to wander over that one, then wander back. We'll see where he decides to actually go. Deep vision only being provided by Doinby, so if they walk around it,
that was a pump fake right there. PYL knows it's warded.
Yep.
He walked there to show vision, and Imp was already sitting up here waiting to go. So they were looking to lane swap or match the lane swap anyway, on the assumption that Xiaogu were going to do it themselves, and spotted.
Yep, there's going to be the ward. So
we're going to get a 2v2.
Moore and Peko have to deal with Imp and PYL. Man, if only Peko was like Peck, because then it could be like 3-letter names versus 3-letter names. TNT, why did you change your name?
Look,
it would have been.
Pekko's better than Peck.
Well, it's true. But TNT is better than most names, really. Their name was so cool.
It was the 2T combo. It was awesome. But, of course, if we're looking at this top lane, 2 versus 2, Imp will actually struggle. It's, as we saw in the last game, Alistar at level 1 doesn't really offer anything to you. So you kind of have to sit back, wait for level 2. And, of course, the experience advantage from the double golems, or the Krugs, as they are now called, did go over to Qiao. So in complete control in the reversed or the Australian lanes.
Yep. Is going to give Marin a 1v1 against V as well on this Tahm Kench. See how the frog goes.
And Marin probably the best Rumble in the world. I've never seen someone play Rumble as effectively as him.
The only one that had come close is Acorn, and he's not going to be against him because he's his teammate.
Yeah. But he's going to find Swift right now. That's a flash.
Yeah, there's a flash forward. V needs one more auto attack to be able to eat him up. Swift does manage to get the knock up. Thunderlords goes down, but Marin is going to be fine. Flash burnt for the Rumble. Wayless already. Any aggressive onto Doinby.
Yeah, so flash for flash used in bottom, and the middle lane, as you are looking at the moment, does favor the Varus for all intents and purposes, if you look at the 1 versus 1. The way that it works is you outrange the LeBlanc's poke. You sit back and you farm where possible. And basically, if she tries to harass with you, she's in a very predictable line, as you just saw.
That's true. Chains are going to land. The Doinby has to be careful. That is going to be the passive down, and Wayless is just being unrelenting with these auto attacks. I think that Amy may have just 3-buffed Swift as well.
It does actually feel that way. Swift, very, very early aggression in the bottom lane with the gank. Predictable almost.
And Imp looking to pick up a kill here in the mid lane.
It's a lot of people. LeBlanc's predictably being aggressive. I'll say that much. Using the W in an offensive manner.
Yeah, that's 4 people making their way in.
You can't bait that.
Yeah.
The LeBlanc was losing lane already to the point where you can't really bait it forward. And they just expended a lot of time. But Marin...
Yeah, there's another knock-up. V needs another couple of auto attacks. Marin's going to make his way underneath the turret. Scrap shield not even necessary. He's going to be absolutely fine, but that's already 2 ganks on the Rumble. It's a lot of respect given to the world champion.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like they've set the precedent that Marin should not be getting ahead.
Yep.
They know he's good, but maybe they're spending too much time down there. As Swift, to be fair, didn't have much of a choice knowing that he's already been 3-buffed. Imp struggling as well.
Oh, nice double pulverize there from the headbutt to PYL. Pekka is going to get a lot of extra hurt. Triumphant Roar is going to help out, though, as LGD, they're holding on just fine here in this top lane.
They certainly are, and they're looking towards their mid-game spike. So they're running the Virus Rumble team composition. So level, let's say 11, hopefully, once they start getting their penetration items, the Sorcerer's Shoes and Haunting Geist for the Rumble, or the, depending on if he wants Abyssal Scepter. And the first big item for Varus is a point of power where they can start to siege, dive, or force objectives. Dangerous position for Qiao to be in if they do get to that stage unimpeded. And then they've got Amy and PYL to boot, who will be level 6 by that stage with their ultimates.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Wayless has been sneaking forward, knows that he's out of vision, and he just snagged Doinby by the very end of that piercing arrow. It's really
You can tell he knows what he's doing on that champion.
He's played it a lot, Rusty.
He's real good on Varus. Of course, should be winning this lane, as mentioned. Does have the range advantage until, let's say, about level 6. But even then, you can threaten the chains with your ultimate. Stop the LeBlanc from doing all of the damage, and he's got the cleanse to boot. So, really, it's a sign of what to expect. Passivity.
Yeah, Chain's going to land one more time. Hail of Arrows actually dodged out of the way, but at least the initial damage there by Doinby. Oh, the clone takes an auto attack from the turret.
Amy sees Swift. Oh, nope. Swift sees Amy.
But look at this. He's just got his jungle on farm. 29 to 18 now as Swift has been trying to get around the map and affected, of course, a couple of ganks there on the bottom side. Unsuccessfully onto Marin. And it's just been Mundo wandering around, killing everything.
Yeah, Swift is wasting a lot of time. He's doing okay to keep up in levels, but honestly a lot of it's lane experience, putting the rest of his team behind. Need to start doing something, Swift, if you're looking to get your team actually ahead and snowballing. Not just sitting in the same bush that you were 30 seconds ago, hoping that Wayless will somehow engage.
Oh, there's a flash out of the way of the chain, as well as Wayless actually flashes away from Swift immediately. Doinby very, very low. Chains of Corruption did come out. 2 chains.
You have to yell it or it doesn't work.
It's just chains everywhere, Rusty.
Yeah, look, Doinby, he's trying really hard to bait for Swift, who has nothing left to do besides let people bait for him. Really, really struggling. Getting out jungled by the Mundo. Dangerous prospect to consider if you want to think that, I already said mid-game's pretty much not where you want to be. Vishagu, you want to try and get past it or get into it ahead.
Yeah, it's an interesting consideration as well, building these mid-game comps, because a lot of the reason why you like Rumble, why Varus can be fantastic at that level 6 mark is people are grouping up for these Dragon fights.
Yeah.
At the moment, with the fact that Dragon is a little bit of a less of a priority, do these comps suffer from that, or do they still have their place?
So they don't suffer from it. The first Dragon's always great, but no one's team fighting for it. They're just taking it as a free objective, right? The Rift Herald is actually something worth considering, because if a Rumble gets a Rift Herald, and there's a Rumble and a Varus in the same lane, the turret's probably going to go down.
Yeah.
So there's still things to consider, right? Like if you go for the Rift Herald, you've got a jungler that is actually perfect to take it down. Amy should not take any damage from it, really. Wayless, pretty good at taking it. Marin, just send 2 people over there, siege with their advantages, with their team composition, and look to snowball the game from mid-game. The question's always going to be if they can make it work, because, as you said, the Dragon, less of a priority. Swift, once again, is here.
Oh, Wayless was charging up the queue, but he's not going to be able to get it this time. Swift, his first successful gank, and Doinby is going to grab the first blood, and that's a big deal here for QG.
Persistence pays. If you
I guess
Swift,
so.
All he has done is sit around middle, sit around Marin in the bottom lane, and eventually it does pay off. Of course, not seen, the unseen Rek'Sai is the deadliest, evidently, as he even gives the kill to Doinby. Doesn't pull a Condi. And go 5-0. In fact, gives it to where the money is required. And V, it's gobbled up a Rumble.
Yeah, Marin actually has to use that scrap shield to get out. V's hungry one more time. The equalizer comes out.
He's got the stun ready.
Yeah, looking for it. Oh, going to land it onto Marin. Happy to tank up this turret because he's got a lot of grey health. Marin turning that one back around. Swift's up here. Going to be seen by the ward. Wants the dive. Harpoon's going to be slowing down, but they're very, very healthy. Marin's going to be in a lot of trouble. They're just waiting for a minion wave, or at least for the Tahm Kench. And doesn't even matter. Swift is going to tank up the turret from the end, and V sets it up beautifully. And look, this is Swift being very diligent.
It is, and it's starting to pay off, right? So Marin had his flash and teleport available, but really had no answer. In fact, if I was Marin, I probably would have just tried to teleport out at the point where there was no vision from Rek'Sai because he was burrowed. So there was a small window that could have possibly worked for him, or at least forced summoners in response. But that was a very clean-cut kill here as V on this Tahm Kench is just gobbling up Marin and making his life absolutely miserable. So the camping that's come out of Swift does start to affect the top lane at least a bit.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is going to be when Amy comes online, now has that Cinderhole completed, 53 CS, 20 jungle camps, or jungle minions ahead of Swift, which is a big deal because those things are worth a bunch of experience and gold.
He's just sitting under his turret. There's nothing for you to do here, Swift. Wayless has resigned himself to no longer being a part of the lane.
Outside of vision range one more time.
He's just staying outside of range the entire time, throwing his arrows. Oh, it's so unfortunate for Wayless, but he's really struggling now. LeBlanc hitting level 6 has finished the Spooky Ghost as well.
That's true.
The pressure is well and truly on right now for Wayless to try and continue to keep up.
Yeah, Marin just has to play so far back.
It's going to take
CS lead starting to accrue for V.
This is still an entirely possible gank. So the Tribush ward is decent from Marin. It's going to spot most likely Doinby right now. They're about to find each other here.
Yeah, Amy's going to make his way around. There's the Spooky Ghost. Swift makes his way in here as well. They are going to be able to clear out this pink.
Spooky Ghost is just not fair.
Yep. Frost Queen's claim is, of course, what we mean, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, of course, sorry. Frost Queen's claim is at 4 seconds of slow that seeks people. Wayless might be in trouble again.
Yeah, he moved halfway up the lane, and that is exactly what he doesn't want to do. The cleanse not going to be enough, and Wayless is going to fall as Doinby makes his way back to the lane, and he's being well and truly kept down after a decent early stage of the game. Just can't find his way in.
It just feels like LGD don't have their way in at all. Amy is farming well, but is not able to gank at all. Is not able to impact the map at all because they've got a Virus with cleanse middle and a Rumble top lane. The kill threat of a Mundo gank is non-existent. The idea behind the LGD team comp is to just scale and farm. But because Swift is very much acknowledging this fact and being the biggest pest in the world, they're going for this.
Yeah, there's the counter flash as well. Marin silenced himself, just going to get gobbled up by V, and Swift is going to be there with even more damage. So the Tahm Kench grabs himself his first kill of the game. And this is Swift, honestly, just dictating the pace.
This is nasty. LGD do not have an answer to this at the moment. They're ganking the persistence out of this Rek'Sai. And the fact that V is honestly hitting absolutely everything with his tongue. It's not being juked at all.
Yep.
Marin does not have an answer. Gets eaten up, thrown away from the turret. Now they're fighting over the dragon.
Yeah, this is QG trying to pick that one up. It is going to be secured here by Amy, who has to flash if he wants to get out of there. But Doinby, oh my goodness, just gets punted out of this one. And LGD somehow managed to survive after the collapse from QG.
And they do get the dragon.
Yeah.
LGD Gaming, it's the objectives that we were confused if they would fight for. It was unlikely that they would. But Qiao know that they're at a point where they're ahead and do look to fight for these things. The fact that everyone from LGD got out and they got the dragon is actually a big win for them.
Is it now a stage of the game where LGD, despite the fact that they are behind, just with their team comp, should they try and fight as...
Tahm Kench is in.
Oh my goodness, the ultimate comes down from V, and they are going to... Yep, just lock down Marin. This is looking disgusting.
Honestly, he's having the hardest game of his life. Amy needs to already address this issue and be in places earlier. Place vision a little bit deeper for him. But Marin goes top, gets ganked the second he gets the lane. Goes bottom after the dragon. Yep. The second he gets there, there's a Tahm Kench ultimate to flank him. And the answer comes from preparation and awareness. They all...
Whoa, what?
Sorry. They all know at this stage. Surely LGD know that they're just killing Marin. They don't even care about Imp.
No. And Imp's just been free farming, getting damage onto turrets. And we'll see, like, this is going to be the thing, right, is if LGD can bounce back from this situation, because their comp, it does scale fantastically. They've got a Tristana, they've got a Mundo. Things are great in the later stage of the game, but They're just getting preyed upon at the moment.
Yeah, seriously. Xiaogu, it's the early game that they were looking for. They're putting themselves into a mid-game where they are ahead, really to complement them the later the game goes.
Yeah, well, Culling's going to come down. Pecco's just going to clear out this minion wave. POL tries to tank it up as much as possible just to give room for a full explosive shot, but Amy has to use the ultimate. The pillar's down as well, slowing everyone. It's a double knock-up here for PYL, but it may not be what they're looking for. That buster shot was fantastic from Imp, as Pecco's still trying to do some work, but no ultimate available. They'll get out safely.
But again, it's the consistent pressuring. Even if they don't get kills, Jogo are putting themselves in advantages on the map.
Yeah.
And that then results in objectives eventually, then results in kills potentially. And really, they don't need to go to Marin anymore because V is 30 CS ahead and a kill to boot. Marin's just confined himself to his turret. He doesn't want to be a part of it. So they try to go to where Imp is and get kills. Wayless doesn't exist. Even his turret's not safe for him anymore. He just does not feel okay in this game. No answer for LGD.
That being said, he can now clear out these minion waves very, very quickly. The piercing arrow and, of course, the hail of arrows as well. It's Pecco. We're going to set something up for Swift and more, but not going to happen. Marin just has to take his Stone Brothers.
It's the missing link right now. They just need money onto the Lucian. They've got the Tahm Kench online. Or they could just... Oh, Marin.
Oh, just diving Marin.
Just pop down the ultimate.
Over again. There is going to be the equalizer, but the Grey Health going to be doing so much work here for V. Marin took his time dying. That is about it.
Amy's here.
Yeah, he's making his way in, but Doimby's down here as well. The ultimate has been popped. It's going to be hard to get through this Mondo, but looks like QG are going to be able to. He's just going to get eaten. No, it doesn't even matter. Doimby just kills him, and QG, despite, losing in farm around the map a little bit, it's just, as far as where to be on the map, they just seem to know everything ahead of time.
This is just Doinby and Swift in their prime. They feel so comfortable right now. You can just go kill Marin. 2 levels behind his lane opponent, 1 level behind the jungler. It's just like clockwork. He goes down. Amy thinks he's got a chance here, but Doinby, in his zone, does not need to lane. If you do not control Doinby in lane, he's going to go everywhere that isn't in lane. And in the Frost Queen's claim meta, there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop him from getting successful roams if he's ahead in lane.
Yep, exactly. Now has almost a Luden's Echo completed as well, only going to need about 900 gold for that. The Doimby well and truly on his way. More just getting a little bit aggressive onto Imp, who has a Zeal and a BF sword. So grabs a BF sword, some extra damage, and then going for what looks like a rapid fire cannon is his next item.
That was a straight 1v1 as well. Trundle doesn't care.
Trundle's silly, man. He's a silly champion. Just silly.
Yeah.
He's got Eye of the Equinox as well, sort of one of the stronger of the, I guess, gold generation items plus Sightstone. So he's going to have a lot of extra room in his build path to grab tanky items and be that monster Trundle.
And it's 17 minutes into this game. It's 5k as well for Shag. It's about to be a little bit more.
And 0-7, LGD haven't made an impact in the kills at all this game.
Nope. The thing that could help them potentially right now is we've got the 2 penetration items done for Rumble. Varus has got CDR well and truly in place with the mana generation item, so he's scaling as much as he possibly can. And the rapid fire cannon is completed for Tristana. So if they're going to pick a fight at a point where they're very behind, I would say it has to be now.
Yeah.
And it'd have to be sooner rather than later, because they run a risk of being snowballed on from a Luden's Echo Frost Queen's claim. LeBlanc.
That's crazy.
Already 2 items completed. And the Essence Reaver is done also for the Lucian. So, this is not a position you would want to be in as LGD.
And look at Doimby's protection as well. 3 pink wards just above him. It just means he needs to cheat towards the top side of his lane, and he will never die.
This is like signature Chagu ahead, though, to be fair.
Exactly.
Usually when you watch Chagu play and lose the game, it's on the back of Doinby not having a great time in laning phase. But when he's ahead, you can see the pink wards on the minimap, as just mentioned. You can also see the control around the map in general. It's so easy for them to just work around the strengths of their middle laner and their jungler working in unison.
Well, it's beautiful so far. As we were questioning Swift just a little bit earlier on, where he was unable to find the ganks onto Marin, but now everything seems to be falling into place. 2-0 and 3 for the Rek'Sai's. Imp might be able to get this turret. The V is being a bit of a menace. Dragon did, of course, fall down there for QG. And LGD, they just want some global gold. Marin's been bullied into his base.
That is not okay. You guys, it's cruel. Calm down.
Cruel and unusual. As Marin does need to get back. The flash does come out, dodges out of the way of the culling. But Pekka, like, I feel like that was just an assertion of dominance.
It was. And he's got the Essence Reaver in place and his Zeal, so the cooldown reduction is there. Wayless has not left middle to save his life. He's struggling to deal with Doinb on this LeBlanc, the wave
Well,
clip.
as soon as he left middle by even, like, you know, a yard or two, he died.
He's being toyed with right now from Doinb.
Oh, my goodness.
Doinb's having fun. That's insulting.
Great. Not great news for LGD fans at the moment as QG just look to be taking control. 6,000 gold, and it's just stretching ever so slowly, this lead that they're managing to pick up. And as LGD, individually, if they had sort of 1v1 or 2v2 lanes without any junglers, things probably would have gone all right.
All they needed was a single winning lane.
Yeah.
They didn't get a single one.
But it was all because of Swift making sure that he got every lane ahead.
It was the lane swap as well, to be fair. So the one opportunity they did have was the 2v2.
Yeah, true.
Pico and Moore got what they were looking for, which was the 2v2. Whereas LGD were making an active attempt to not have it, I think. If they were looking to have the 2v2, it definitely backfired.
It certainly did.
Because Tahm Kench into Rumble, I think we know who does well in that one now.
Yeah. Well, PYL has to be very careful. Doesn't manage to get the Pulverize. It has to use the ultimate
Yeah.
to get out of the chain as Doinb. Like you said, he just always looks like he's toying with people.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. Swift is doing the same thing, to be fair.
Yeah. Inside the enemy jungle, Amy trying to be here, piercing arrow, not going to find anyone. Now Pekko dashing forward with the culling. Wayless takes half of his health.
Dash was unnecessary.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more, but misses the chains of corruption. In goes PYL. Actually managed to get a nice double knock-up, but the tower falls down. Equalizes in here as well. This could be LGD's team fight if they can make it happen. It's only the turret that's fallen, and the piercing arrow not going to be enough. And LGD, they can't catch up to QG. Oh my god, that damage was ridiculous, but unfortunately onto a clone.
Managed to pop the clone, though, on the LeBlanc instantly. I will say, Doinb took a lot of damage, and that was from the virus. The Rumble ultimate did do a bit of damage. It wasn't game-changing. And Qiao are given permission, essentially. They just walk away back to their base. They reset, buy some items, and now they're the ones looking threatening one more time because Rumble doesn't have the ultimate. There's no ultimate from Mundo, no ultimate from PYL. That's their front line.
Oh, that's a good point. It's 2 items here for the Tristana, though, as PRIL. He's going to have to be very careful. Doesn't have the ultimate. Doinb's going to lock down that kill. Swift now turns his eyes to Imp, who has no turrets to go back to. Buster Shot's going to be there, but look at this Rek'Sai. Doesn't care at all. Culling comes down. Yeah, like a typewriter.
I'm pretty sure that all we've seen from Pico is the culling.
Yeah.
I don't think
but man, it's working.
I don't think he's auto-attacked between the culling.
He can't catch up fast enough.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
everyone's just dying.
They are spending the whole time out of range of auto attacks and in range of the culling, which is why that's all we're seeing, to be fair. PYL doesn't have his ultimate available. He's the first casualty of war from this LGD side yet again. Imp out of position once he sees PYL go down pretty much immediately. Doinb uses a spooky ghost just in case they didn't have vision of the bush already. Pico with the cleanup duty. Jogo 9-0 against this star-studded LGD roster.
Yeah, and this newly bolstered LGD roster as well. A roster that we were expecting to have a little bit more motivation, but haven't seen very much change. You know, Wayless still playing Varus, and I mean, admittedly, we have seen him so far in the LPL. It's not like, you know, this is an outdated pick or anything like that, but it seems this is where he defaults back to at all times.
Once the zone use is done for Doinb, things get very juicy.
Yeah.
For Qiao, they can actually look to start diving things because LeBlanc Siege is underrated. Very good at sieging, and the biggest problem with that is always going to be Wayless popping the chains the second that he goes in to poke.
Precisely.
Now that you've got the Zone Use Hourglass available to prevent you dying from it, you're actually going to be okay.
Do you like the phrase non-committal all-in?
No.
For a LeBlanc? It sort of half makes sense because you put yourself all the way in. But you don't have to commit because you just pop back out again.
Not committing and alling in are like
I know,
polar
that's the
opposites,
point.
but
That's the beautiful part of it, you know? Never mind.
You have to come up with something a little bit more indirect, right? Like,
yeah. I think it's just bad. Let's just ignore it for now. It's QG. Another culling comes out. Pekka not going to be too accurate on that one, as Imp struggling to get towards the minions as there's a traffic cone in the way. Not the time for roadworks. As Doinby's just going to split push in the mid lane. You can see it's just so much control for QG, and it just looks like for LGD there's no way in. None at all.
Nope.
And 8,000 gold the lead now for QG. It's a suffocation.
Across the board. The saving grace is maybe that there's a lot of farm onto Wayless. He's starting to ramp up in damage, but you can't even compare that to Doinby who's doing damage. You can't even compare that to V, who is 50 CS ahead of his lane opponent, Marin.
He's had a little bit of help.
Oh, look, a little bit doesn't really quite cover it.
Yeah, but Marin back in base now as well. V has to be answered. There's the Abyssal Voyage as PWL has to try and answer. Immediately flashes out, so V not as happy about that decision. And Doinby just still chilling here in the mid lane. So QG not going to find a team fight there, but you can see the pressure is most definitely on.
And now they're looking at the Baron. Now don't mind this decision given the control of vision on the map. They started it and immediately get a Scrying Orb on them. They know that that's 2 of the Scrying Orbs down, I would hope. There's only 1 left, and that's Marin.
Marin hanging out here in the mid lane. And look, one thing we can say is still, you know, the scaling opportunity is going to be there for LGD.
Yeah.
In the fact that they have a Tristana and a Docomondo.
I just question how effectively the scaling will be if you look at the opposition side here. Yeah. They're still good late game. Like, Lucian still does a whole lot of damage. Doinby's always going to be relevant.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, it's not exactly much of a good news story, but you need to look for something. And so far, it's looking awful. 10,000 gold now the lead. 2,000 gold lead that they just managed to extend. Honestly, it just came out of extra farm and a combination of that and nowhere. Because really, it just seems like they're just accruing far more money organically than they necessarily have any right to.
It's just so clinical.
It is. It certainly is. The shutout level that LGD are trying to deal with right now is awful.
Yeah. Honestly, like, Swift, it didn't look like he was making the right decisions, but he made a single right decision after, let's say, 2 or 3.
It's almost like he knew that it was definitely the right thing to do, irrespective, and stuck to his guns no matter what. And paid off.
Exactly right. And Wayless is honestly just stuck back because he's struggling in the 1v1 scenarios. Doesn't actually want to show his head on the map, only his arrows. Doinby yet again. Actually hasn't hit a chain in about 4 attempts.
Yeah.
But still does that much damage.
Onto a Mundo, which is the really scary part.
A Mundo with MR.
Yep, this might be turret number 2 down for LGD as they are here in the mid lane, but
V's going in.
Yeah, there's going to be a decent traffic cone there. Abyssal Voyage comes down. Piercing Arrow a little bit early there as Swift looking for the flank. Amy just tanking up as much damage as he can. The flank for Doinby trying to get in there. Equalizer was in a fantastic spot, but Imp explodes. V is going to be able to grab Amy as well, who tanked up as much as he could. Marin trying to do some work. Does pick up... No. Doesn't even pick up 1 as Doinby manages to get out. It's a double kill for V. Double kill for Pekka. And this QG roster... My God.
This is a team effort. Swift starts with the flank. Watch Doinby as well, because he's the one that turns this entire team fight on its head. It's starting to look okay. The equalizer's in a good spot. Bam. Flash with the mimicked ultimate onto him. He just explodes. Doesn't even know what planet he is on before he goes down. Marin tries his absolute hardest, but he was already 0-4 and just doesn't do the damage to take down Doinby. 14-0 right now.
And you know what Swift was doing that whole time? He was herding.
Yeah.
He was a shepherd.
Yeah.
That was all he did. He's like, this way, everyone. And then Doinby just slaughters everyone. It looked like everything under complete control by QG. And I mean, we say clinical a fair bit, but this is probably the most clinical victory I've ever seen from QG, to risk saying victory early.
Yeah, look, let's just say this is at least the most clinical 28 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's counting, that I have seen in quite a long time in competitive League of Legends, because to not have a single kill is really indicative. To watch Amy losing a 1v1 against a Rek'Sai's Mundo says a lot.
There, the Frost Green's claim comes in as well as the chains do land this time. It's going to get stuck up. Pekko's going to grab it with another.
It's just a culling. Lucian, the culling man.
God, yep. He's actually unbound the rest of his buttons.
He's only
just
got
R.
No, he's got E because he dashes at them with it.
That's
He's done
true.
that.
That is true.
Oh,
Doimby
God.
going in aggressive. Going to land a bit of a combo there, but just the brute force play. Of course, the Baron was picked up here by QG. The inhibitor's going to fall down. Doimby puts his face in just for a bit of a look, do a bit of damage. And LGD look completely broken.
Yeah, LGD, they might even just lose the game here. They need to fight, and they are.
Yeah, another turret falls down. Decent equalizer there as Moore takes a lot of damage. Wayless is going to be able to take him down in the end. Marin at full health, but Swift is going to deal with the Varus very, very effectively. And Marin gets eaten one more time. This is a little bit difficult
Nexus,
to watch.
They got a kill!
They did! Imp trying to do some work now as well as Doimby very, very low on mana. That might be a way for them to work something out, is make sure that they have no resources to do anything. But Amy's just going to get delivered to his team, and Doimby might have enough left. He does! Pop goes the Tristana, and that is going to be the Nexus falling. Ridiculous play out of QG. This is a team looking to prove themselves heading into the LPL, and coming second in IAM Cologne was definitely not enough, Rusty. They also needed to make LGD honestly look silly.
It feels weird to say, but that was almost like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, that was what I was expecting our first game of the night to be.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like that. That was just utter destruction from QG.
There's no words. It was a clinic. They absolutely dumpstered LGD.
Dumpstered? Like, look, I normally frown at using the phrase dumpstered on air because it's not very nice. But I can't figure out a more accurate way of describing what just happened to LGD.
And the biggest problem, though, was always going to be the jungle pressure, because Swift, from the very start of the game, had a strategy.
Yeah.
He put the strategy into effect, and it paid dividends. You look at Doimby.